Hi everyone. I tried starting this vlog like 3 times now, and there's a leaf blower going on outside, and every time I start talking I hear "Meow," and that's kind of just how the past couple of weeks, I guess, have been going. So today's vlog is there are a lot of things that just aren't working in my environment with my body. I'm actually wearing my surgical bra today. I'm like, what, 15 months out from surgery, and it's like a security blanket. I had to go back to this bra. And I also wanted to share some stuff today about friendships, and not a mean, cynical way. Because I know I have plenty of vlogs where I share about my frustration with people that disappeared throughout this whole process, and today is election day. I voted and got a fun little sticker. And I came across several people that I know when I went to go vote, and had a few little revelations that I wanted to share. So I have a pounding headache right now. My Lupron number 14 is scheduled tomorrow. I apologize if my speech is still weird. I'm still not used to my temporary teeth. You can rewind to see what was going on with my teeth for the past, like, oh my gosh, almost 2 years now. Crazy. But they're fake, like my boobs. It's so funny, because I didn't want to have Botox injections in my scapula, which will solve a lot of problems, but I feel like my body can only take so much, and like, I know it will help my scapula, but I'm like, yeah, I don't know how I'm going to react to Botox, so let's not add another medication or something in there. And I think if Botox is like, you know, like this happening, or not being able to show emotion with your eyebrows and stuff, and at this point it's like there's so much fakeness on me. I have powder coated nails. Like, these aren't even, I mean, they're my nails, but like the powder is what makes them long. My nails are never this long, and it's actually physically uncomfortable. So let me talk about the what's not working for me right now. Let's do that with that notification, because it's distracting. I've been having sensory stuff going on and off. Again, I'm on my 14th Lupron. I would think that it would be over, but it's not. I don't know why. I don't have the energy to psychoanalyze why. But yeah, I'm on my 14th Lupron injection, which will be tomorrow. And I don't know, like this morning, I had a really hard time getting dressed, which is so frustrating because it's so far out from all this stuff happening that, like, it makes me mad that I still have such a hard time getting dressed. I need to seriously cancel my Stitch Fix subscription. They've been awesome, but I've now gone through, like, I think it's been 15 months, maybe a little bit less, of needing clothes from them. I was on a roll with exercising, and I know I've lost some weight. But my clothes are just not fitting right, and I've gone through a full season, and I know I need new jeans because the jeans I got last year are getting too big, which is awesome. But I have to reel in the spending. I know it's super convenient, but I have enough now of 4 seasons full of post-mastectomy clothes and post-medication clothes to choose from. This shirt came in my last box, and I was just going to return everything. And then I saw it sitting there, and I'm like, I'm so frustrated because the shirts I want to wear, they're all just not sitting right. Even as I'm sitting here, by the way, because when I first sat down before I hit play, my jacket was like this. And then just as I'm talking, it's moving over because there are these fake boobs that are like, you know, they stick out more than my other boobs did. And this is my nice pretty one. So like this was falling fine. And then this one just like has this weird wide shit thing going on. And to be honest with you, I'm getting nervous that something is wrong. But I had a really hard time this morning with getting dressed, and I didn't want to take this bra off. And obviously, because it's like it's not the most attractive of bras. There's like Velcro on it. It's wide and it has like the front zipper and stuff. I got this from my plastic surgeon's office. But I've been in a lot of pain while I've been sleeping. I only slept 5 hours last night. I am doing a sleep study in like 2 weeks or something at home. They have you just pick up the kit. But it's my body. Like, I'm not comfortable. I'm not comfortable with this body. And like what you see right now with like, look how nice this looks. And this just like falls over onto that side. It might seem like dumb, but especially as a math person, I like relative symmetry. And I just want to be able to just like get dressed and go out and just like be normal. And I would think after all this time that like stupid shit like this wouldn't still pop up. Yesterday I took a picture. I'm going to use it as my thumbnail for by the time I post this, it'll be the thumbnail for the prior vlog. I went grocery shopping yesterday. It was like 75 out. It was like in November. It was really warm. And I wore a dress that I've worn before. And I typically wear that dress with no bra. But my boobs have been bothering me. My left boob is starting to hang visibly, noticeably lower than my right one. And that brings up a lot because it looks different than the other one. And when I had my own boobs, you know, my boobs look different from each other. That was, that's not how I found out. I found out about the cancer from testing. You know, I just figured boobs look different. Nobody's perfectly symmetrical, and that's just like how things are. But now that like I know that I had cancer, this is what my boobs looked like when I had cancer. And now I see my left boob and I'm like, there's something wrong. Like, is the implant leaking? Like, why is it flatter? It's like wider and flatter. And it, like, with a shirt on, I distinctly notice a difference. So I pick out this shirt because it has patterns. Like, just this. Like, I know I pulled at it, but, like, this is showing, like, it's just... I just want to wear a shirt and have it stay in the middle. Like, that should be so much to ask. I went to the grocery store yesterday after work. I was there longer than expected because the guy who was cashing out never completed the transaction for the first person before me. And like, we're still in the COVID-19 pandemic. Like, things are much better, but it's still like a thing. And, staffing is hard. There's a lot of turnover in a lot of places, and a lot of places are understaffed. I went to the grocery store and I went to check out, and inflation, like prices for most things are just very high right now. And when I went to check out, I look at the cash register because he didn't tell me what the total was, and it was $471. I'm an empty nester. I'm one person. And I'm like, I can't imagine that I just spent $470 worth of groceries. Like, that's insane. So I get the receipt and I go forward a little bit and I'm looking at it. Powerball right now, like, fun fact, it's like the highest, I think it's the highest Powerball, like, lottery winnings, like, in history right now. So I played Powerball. I won a whopping $8. I went to cash in my $8 and I'm looking at the receipt and it says Pinot Noir, like some kind of like steak meal, whatever. And I'm like, I didn't purchase that. That's when I realized that he never checked out the person before me. So I actually ended up paying for my groceries and her groceries, which is like crazy. Big oversight on his part. So I had to stand at customer service. I got my $8 from the Powerball, and then they took out every item out of my bag and had to rescan everything. So they refunded me, obviously, and then had everything go through. But like, I was just there for way longer than I expected to be. And I'm like, whatever, like, you know, shit happens, whatever. And then I get home and I think that I look really pretty because I have my dress on. I did have a bra on underneath. Actually, I had a camisole on underneath, which I don't usually wear with that top. It's nude colored and it has like real straps, not like these like 12-inch wide straps. Like, it has actual like bra straps, but it's a camisole and it makes my boobs look the same size, which is why I wore it. And when I went into the grocery store, I looked up and made eye contact with some guy who happened to be walking by, who was really good looking. And I was like, oh, like that was a nice surprise. But he was leaving and I was coming in and like, that was that. But it made me feel nice. But then when I got home and I took my shoes off, my feet are swelling so much with the gabapentin. But the gabapentin is what lets me wear clothes and not sweat through them because of the hot flashes. But it makes my feet and my ankles swell. And my feet looked awful. They just looked awful. I had strappy heels on and my feet looked awful. I had the heels on because the Achilles issues and the heels help. Like everything just seems to just be a project and it's just so freaking ass annoying and I'm just over it. I'm so over it. Not like in a give up way. It's just like enough. Like I just want to break. Anyway, my point. Oh, so yeah, take the sandals off. I look at my feet. I'm like, holy cow, elevate them for enough. And then I go look at my dreaded like 6 foot tall full length mirror in my room, which I love and hate because I pass it all the time. And I see myself with my dress on and I think I'm like looking all pretty in my dress and everything is like over. And I'm like, you know what? This is perfect for a picture just to show like my right boob right now is great. My left one is not. So since the right one sticks out more, my clothes go this way. And here I am like looking at the sky like, hey, you know, and then here I am with my clothes going that way. And I'm like, is this what I looked like the whole time that I was shopping? It seems like a small thing, but it's not to me. And I had the surgery scheduled for January. And in the back of my head, I wonder, like, I'm going for my Lupron tomorrow. I'm like, should I have called the nurse and said, you know, can you just take a look at my boobs? Even though I was just at oncology not long ago. And she felt around and stuff. But I'm like, they also felt around right before I had my surgery. And no one felt anything. And I had a, 3 point whatever centimeter tumor that was malignant and they couldn't feel it. And when I look at my left boob and I'm like, well, is there something wrong? Like, is it wrong with the implant that it's just kind of superficial? Or is it like, oh, by the way, cancer's back. It's eating away at your whatever tissue. There has to be some tissue. I don't really know how that works. How many layers of skin there are to get to the implant. I don't know. But I'm just, like, in general, I'm just, like, not happy with how my body's been, like, still just responding to stuff. So I get to work today, too, and I've been having these sensory things, and I don't know what that's about. And I broke out, I didn't use Play-Doh today. I have this, like, goop kind of stuff. It's glittery. So it leaves a little bit of glitter on my hand, which makes me happy, but it's cool to the touch. And I'm just like gnawing at it with my hand the entire time I was working today. And I don't think my boss is really used to seeing me like that. My other boss that was there during, like, when I was going through most of my stuff, like, she was used to it. She actually was the one who got me the goop, which is a great present. But I was thinking, oh, I wish I had my little fidget thing, which I think is in there, which I need to bring back to work again. And I'm frustrated that I need to even bring anything back to work to deal with any sensory issues. Because it's like, I would think they'd be going away or gone. But a lot of things with this process, I don't know. You know, people in general just think, cancer, chemo, radiation, surgery, done. Oh, and okay, yeah, you might have to be on medication for like 5 or 10 years. But the reality of what that looks like day to day, people don't get. And it's not like I'm complaining about this for other people. It's just, you know, like, I didn't think this was going to still be a thing for me. Like, I just want to wake up and just not have to notice anything happen with my chest. And I know it's always worse right before the Lupron, but like what, after I finish the Lupron in like 6 months or something, does that mean like it all goes away? No, I don't think it will go away. And I'm not saying that to be glass half empty. It's just like, there just always seems to be something. So I actually wore this bra to sleep last night. I sleep on my left side. Maybe that's a mistake. Maybe I caused my left boob to be the way it is because I sleep on my left side. I've been told before by other doctors, I don't know if it's actually true or not, like before I had all this stuff and I had my own boobs, when they were shaped differently, you know, they would say, well, if you sleep on your left side all the time, it makes sense because, you know, I guess they get flatter or whatever. I don't know if that's true or not. But I could see how, yeah, if you always put pressure on one side and you're sleeping on that side for 7, 8 hours, that'd be nice to get 7 or 8 hours, that it would change how it's shaped. I don't know. I don't know what's right or wrong. I just, and then it's like I feel bad laying on my left side, but that's how I actually sleep. And should I try a 15th type of pillow arrangement? I still like find it insane how many freaking pillows and pillows and pillows I have. I mean, I'm not even exaggerating. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pillows. And then I have a husband back there too. 9 pillows. That's like ridiculous. I don't know what the right answer is. Buy a new mattress? I don't know. Does it really matter? Who the heck knows? So I took this because this bra is like, it's good with compression. They gave it to me a few weeks after, I think it was a few weeks after the surgery, when like I didn't need the kind of bra that you use for like drains, but I wasn't ready for like a regular sports bra because at the time I couldn't lift my hands over my head and stuff, and this is a front zip. So they gave me 3 of these. So it's nice because it like, it's, you know, it's elastic like everywhere. There's no seam on the side, which is great. Like right when you have the drains, it's great not having seams on the side because you do have sensitivity where the drains were. It does right up kind of high in my armpit, but like my armpits are fine now. So I wore this and it just makes, it's almost like a security blanket. Like it keeps them all together in one thing, and I don't really want to take it off. It's binding, which is good. And it's not the same as a regular sports bra because I feel like I kind of have to lift my boob up to have it fit the right way in a sports bra. And then like there's seams and stuff with sports bras that are weird. I don't know. I'm spending way too much time talking about this. But it's just, I'm just not comfortable with my body. And like even my nails, I had them done for the runway show, and I just made an appointment today to get the powder taken off. The powder manicures make your nails like hard. It's hard to type that way. But like even the feeling of them being so long makes me physically uncomfortable. My teeth, I'm just being sensitive around because I want to take care of them. But like even my hair, I'm just like, I'm uncomfortable with my hair, like touching myself, which is why I've been playing with this. Cause I just like, I want it off of me. There's just like weird sensory stuff like that. Like I just want it off. I don't want it touching me. And I know tomorrow when I go for my Lupron, they're going to ask me how I'm doing, and I'll explain all this stuff to them, and who knows what they'll say. But I feel like it's just like how it works. So let me switch on to some positivity. So today was election day. Not that politics are a positive thing to talk about. I don't want to spend any time really talking about politics, but what I will say is that like my town, the country, the world has been very divided over the past couple of years, especially between the pandemic in the U.S., between presidencies. I don't need to go into all this, but you can Google Donald Trump if you're watching this like 10 years from now. I don't know why I'm laughing because it's really not funny. but the country and my town and lots of people have just been very divided over political things. And I've seen sides of people that I had not seen before, regardless of anything with this, by the way, like purely because like the pandemic, people don't want to leave their homes. There's some people that are like, who cares about masks? It's all conspiracy. And then you have people like me who actually had COVID, and I'm like, it's, you know, not something I want to have again. And I will do my part and, you know, wear a mask and do all those things. And now that things are getting better with COVID numbers and spreading and stuff, like I'm ready to go out and live life again, responsibly, but, you know, go out and live life again. So today, with it being election day, my only thought in my head was, A, I want to have my voice heard, so it was important to vote. And B, there's always a baked goods sale outside at election day. And I'm like, I just want a baked good. I'm supposed to be watching what I eat because of my triglycerides and stuff, but I'm like, it's just one little brownie. Like, that's all that I want. And supporting a good cause at the same time because it's the PTO. So I go there and, you know, I was just talking yesterday during my vlog about like having to get up and move and not being able to afford to be here and starting new and all that stuff. And then today happens. And, like I know a lot of people in my town. I volunteered for a lot. I did the news and met a lot of people. I anchored the news in town for quite a while. I know a lot of people, and like today just reminded me of all the people that do ask, that do step up. That word expectations, you know, I hate it because you expect to have X, Y, and Z from your family and from certain friends. And of course, then you get disappointed when those things don't happen. It's hard to get rid of expectations entirely because like I mean, for me as a mom, for example, like I'm not going to not do certain things for my kids. Like I expect myself to do those things because I think that they're the right things to do. But I get not every parent is like me. I don't know. Anyway, so when I went there today, and the place was packed because like it's a hot topic right now. Well, the questions they were talking about on the ballot, but also like the House and the Senate and you know, which party has the majority. So like the line between Democrat and Republican was a very large thing while you're voting, but it wasn't when like I was engaging in conversations outside of that. So I walk in, and today was a super busy day. I tutored 2 kids today, which is partly why I'm exhausted. I did that after I had work, so it was like a real full-time day for me, and it was exhausting. I took things slow, and I think that actually, not only did it help me, it helped the kids I was working with too. And I'm like, you know, you can't go 8,000 miles an hour with math because you're going to miss something and get something wrong. So like, let's just come down to my level. Maybe that's the lesson with all of this shit with my tutoring is like, let's slow it down and take this little piece. Like, I'm not thinking about 6 questions ahead. I'm thinking about where am I right now? And that's where I was with the people I ran into when I went to go vote. I go in and I saw the person who was the minister in my church who recently retired and left. And it was just nice to see him and gave him a hug, or he gave me a hug, whatever. And like, I didn't lose my shit there because I was inside the bowling place. But it was just nice, and the authenticity of him and how he's so good with his words. Well, he's a minister, I guess you need to be, but it's just, you could hear in his tone how genuine he was, that like he missed seeing me because I don't see him when I go to church because he's not there anymore. And there's a lot of people that are so superficial, and when you can feel and hear just genuine care in someone's voice, it's so refreshing and heartwarming. So, yeah, and then I walk into the gym and go to vote, and I'm like, I don't even know what the hell to do. They're like, you're precinct 3, and I'm like, I see a 1 and a 2, I don't see a 3. I go to the 3 on the wrong side of the gym, and I got all discombobulated, but that's why they have volunteers there to tell you where to go, and whatever. Anyway, so I voted, and I went to go leave, and I saw coffee out there, and I'm like, I want to have coffee. Yeah, so I had coffee and ran into a friend of mine who I talked to pretty frequently, and also a breast cancer survivor. So we just had some small chit chat, and I asked her about the bake sale, and she's like, oh, it's right next to me. I'm like, oh, because their sign was small, I didn't see it. And I'm like, all right, I'm gonna head over there. So I'm looking at the wide array of stuff, and someone called my name, and I looked over and made chit chat with him. Oh, before that, when I was talking to my friend, who's also a cancer survivor, she has a first name, I just don't want to talk about that on here. I saw, when I was done voting, I saw a friend of mine who's, I know him more than, we volunteered together and stuff. I know him more than I know his wife. But whenever I see his wife, since really this has happened, maybe a little bit before that, she gives the best hugs. And, again, genuine and caring. And it's not like I hang out with her every week at all. But there's genuine care and when she hugs me. So I had reached out to her on Facebook for something or other, I don't even remember. And I think she asked what I needed, and I'm like, next time I see you, I'm like, I just could use a hug. And I just wanted to, like, I like cried out with her, because she's just, that's how she, that's what she is for me, that I can be comfortable and just like cry it out, and know that it's going to be okay, that I can cry it out and it's okay. So I saw her husband, and and I know him well, and I don't even remember how it came up. It's just that, like, I felt comfortably vulnerable, that it was okay that I've been in this weird spot, and here I am surrounded by a town full of many people that I know that love me and support me. And I've needed hugs. And I don't need to make like a cry fest of going to vote, because that's not really what you're supposed to do, you know, and kind of change the mood of whatever. And I don't even remember how he asked or whatever he said. I don't know, but I just remember thinking like, oh, I wanted to see your wife so I could give her a hug. Or more so she could give me a hug. And he said something like, well, you know, I can give hugs too. So I hugged him, and I started crying. I've known him for a while. Like, he's known me through 2 last names. But I started crying, and no one could really tell. I wasn't like sobbing or anything. But I just started crying. Like, I just, you know, I feel comfortable with him, and I just started crying. Not messy crying, just crying. And I said, like, I didn't mean to cry on you. Like, I meant to cry when I see your wife, but I haven't seen her recently. And I needed to just let it out. Even if it was, like, right by the entrance to the polling place. Like, I didn't care. I didn't care. It wasn't inappropriate or anything. But it was nice. And then I made small talk about, like, work stuff when I was at the bake sale table. And then I look over to my right, and I see a friend of mine who I haven't seen in a very, very long time. Also a cancer survivor, breast cancer survivor. but I haven't seen her in a very, very, very long time. I can't recall the last time I had a conversation with her. Not because of anything happening. It's just, you know, whatever. And I saw her, and she smiled, and I'm like, I need a hug from her. So I walk over. I don't know what she said. I think she went to give me a hug just because I haven't like really had a conversation with her in a really long time. And I hugged her, and the waterworks. That was the ugly cry. Not loud, it was silent. But she said, "Are you crying?" And I'm like, I just needed, like, it was random that I saw her, and she was the perfect person. Not just because she went through breast cancer herself, but just because of what I know her as, like loving and warm and caring and nurturing. And that I could hug her and cry, and that's just what I needed. And then when I moved away, the short story is she didn't even know I had breast cancer. Which I love when people are like disconnected from social media like that they don't know. Because like too many people are like so addicted to social media, as I'm on YouTube right now. But I haven't been on Twitter in a very, very, very long time. So there's that. But yeah, she didn't know. And I assumed that she knew, and she didn't know. And I told her, and then, I guess because everyone says, like, I mean, this is what I was wearing, but like when I was there, I had this tie later in the day to keep it together. But when I was there, I had my bag like over my crossbody bag, so it keeps everything together, which is a little trade secret for those of you who have misshapen boobs. Yeah, the crossbody purse keeps the clothes together, so it helps keep them more symmetric. Sorry, I just had a moment. Oh, so yeah, people will say to me like, you know, like, oh, you look good. Like your hair looks good. Your outfit looks good. Whatever. Like you look good. So you see that from the outside and you just assume that like everything is all hunky-dory on the inside. I don't mean my heart. I mean like my parts, you know, and it's not. So she said to me, when I told her, she's like, maybe she looked down, I don't know. And she's like, did you have a lumpectomy? Or she asked if I had a lumpectomy or if I had one removed. And I'm like, no. I'm like, I had both removed. And she seemed surprised, like looking at me. I mean, it's a patterned shirt. You can't tell, but just as I'm talking, it's starting to bunch up. I don't know if you notice it. I notice it. It's bunching up here. I shouldn't have bought this shirt. Which is why I had to stop the Stitch Fix thing. Because then you see a shirt and you're like, ah, whatever patterns. People won't be able to tell anything. They are somewhat forgiving. But we sat there and talked about her story a little bit more. You know, I filled her a little bit on my stuff. And I sent her a link to the vlog. Again, not to, it's like I'm advertising. It's just, it's the easiest way to communicate, like, you know, what's going on. When, like, I'm not going to sit there for an hour, like, you know, talking to her at a voting polling place. But we have mutual friends, and some of those friends were people that I expected would have checked in on me with this whole process and didn't. So sorry, I'll stop clicking this. It's the sensory. I can't stop. So I thought of her, and like what my life was like when I would see her more frequently. And I was married then, lived in my big house and all that stuff. And obviously things have changed. But she knew me kind of as a different person because my life was different back then. And the people that I, you know, like hung around with were different. And it didn't make me again, like the weird things that make things like the buttons, you know, turn or switch, flip, that's the word. I thought about the people that we know in common, and I thought that, like, yeah, I don't talk to them anymore. I see them, they look the other way. And I don't know what's going on behind that. It might have nothing to do with this at all. It could be, like, somebody once thought I was I said something on Facebook or something, and someone thought I was this, like, huge Trump supporter, like, conservative. And I'm like, no. Like, I'm a Democrat and liberal, and I don't know why you would think that. So you never know what's going on in someone else's world. I don't know if it's because of this. I don't know if it's because of whatever. But the point is, like, I don't really, there's been obviously a switch with certain people, and me not, I'm not as close with them as I was, or don't see them at all. Looking the other way is just, like, juvenile to me. I'd rather have a discussion, but it needs to be a discussion where you're both willing to, like, hear each other. So I acknowledge that I thought of those people that I've been complaining about a lot on these vlogs of, like, who let me down and blah, blah, blah. But I wasn't sad about it in the presence of her, because I'm like, yes, while that was there, and those friends were, like, crucial for me at other times in my life that I don't know what I would have done without them, and they were phenomenal friends, and that's just not where we are right now. Or it may not ever be. I don't know. But, like, talk about being in the present of what's going on. It's like right here, right now, I got 3 great hugs that I really needed. And I listened to my own needs of, like, yes, I have to get back to work. And I need this right now to keep me going. It was just so good to see her. And like, not the people that you always expect, you know? And she, you know, she asked me, I told her I'm having another surgery in July to deal with my drama here. Or not July, sorry, January. And I'm like, at that, because she asked what I needed, and I'm like, at that point, you know, yes, I'll need stuff like help with meals and that kind of stuff. I'm like, but for right now, she's like, you know, do you want to get coffee or go for a walk? I'm like, I don't want to go for a walk. I didn't get to the whole story with my Achilles, but, like, walking is not enjoyable for me right now. Like, I don't want to go for a walk. I don't want to go for coffee. It's hard when you're working anyway to go for coffee. And I'm like, I don't want to go for a meal either. I said, I'm used to eating on my own. Like, I don't need to be with someone else to eat. I'm like, I want to do stuff. Like, I want to live life. I want to do something fun, like responsible, because of COVID still. Obviously, I don't want to get sick, but I want to do something fun. Like, something that I feel alive doing. And I'm like, I don't know, bowling, shooting pool. I don't know what that is. I don't know. And she's like, axe throwing. And I'm like, I've never thrown an axe. I'm like, my shoulder's fixed, my scapula's not, but maybe throwing a pretty heavy axe would actually maybe, like, knock things into place. I have no idea what's the worst that can happen. I've heard it's a great stress reliever, and she's always wanted to go. So I'm like, yeah, like, let's go axe throwing. And I had a vlog a couple of weeks ago about someone I ran into at Trader Joe's, who's a very good friend of hers. And also, like, a fun person. And I said to her too, like, I appreciate the things like meals and stuff. And I know her personality well enough to know that, like, she's the fun person. I'm like, I need my fun friends. And maybe they're not the old fun friends that I had. Maybe these are, like, the new fun friends that I have. But I need fun friends to go live life and to go do things that are new and exciting and make me happy. I could be hurting after the axe throwing, but yeah, I want to go axe throwing. So I'm not going to make an expectation there. If things fall through, they fall through. But for right now, the thoughts in my head that, like, you know, I'm around these people I wasn't expecting to be around. I got 3 hugs that were so warm and genuine. I got my 2 good cries. It's like the cries got messier as they progressed. And it helped me to have a good day at work. And today, like I said, was a really busy day. I usually tutor like a kid a day. It's hard to like switch gears that quickly between different grade levels of teaching. At one point, I tutored a 3rd grader and 11th grader, and it's like you have to go in a whole different mindset when you're going from 3rd to 11th grade, because it's a whole different, you know, person and how you are with those kids. But like, I'm tired, but I'm exhausted, but I'm not drained. And I think I know a large part of that is because of what I got at election day. My cup got filled this morning. I'm crying because I'm happy. My cup got filled this morning. And there's so many holes in the cup that pop up like all the time. Like, I can only imagine what my ankles look like right now. Because I was up, or sitting up or standing like almost all day, but didn't have my feet up. My blood pressure this morning was like high again. They'll talk about it tomorrow when I get my Lupron, because they're going to flag me again. And I'm like, I don't know. I started the meds, but my blood pressure's not dropping. I feel fine, but it's not dropping. I've only had one normal blood pressure reading since I started the meds. This is not good, but it'll sort it out. But yeah, my cup was really full today. I had an empty cup because I didn't have expectation. And there were all these holes that, like, the holes of, like, my shirt shifting and me having to wear this, like, friggin' orthopedic bra. and my hair feeling like it weighs, like, 8,000 pounds. And being aware of how I'm speaking because my teeth are plastic right now. And I forgot my toothbrush at home when I went to work. So I never brushed my teeth after I drank the coffee and ate my lunch. And my ankles hurt, like the backs of my ankles where my Achilles are, they hurt today, even though I had a little heel on my boot. Like, there was all these little things to poke holes in that damn cup. But, you know, I saw those people today and they filled my cup. And I really hope they're watching right now, too. I really do. It wasn't just those 3. I ran into a friend of mine, his wife. And just like looking at her, you know, it's interesting how I think about it. Even just whenever I just see her, I often see her at Starbucks. Like, whether she's physically smiling or not, when I look at her, I just picture her always smiling. And we were talking about my younger son. We were talking about both my sons, but like, she was asking about my younger son because he just started college, and I just felt so proud just talking about him. And like, it was just, I really had my cup filled today. And I don't say with anger, like, you know, yeah, you can stick all those holes in that cup to empty now because of all the side effects from medication and cancer shit. That's not what it was about. It's like, you know, here's my cup, and like the holes just come because they just come. Maybe it's more like a styrofoam cup. I don't know. Things happen, you know, easier to puncture. But then you almost forget, like, of all the different things there are to put in the cup. You expect certain things to be in your cup, like coffee or tea. But then you forget stuff like cappuccino and lattes. And stuff like that. And today was really filling my cup up with some cappuccino. With nice little designs on top. And a pretty mug. That was my day today. And I'm just so grateful for it. Yeah, so I'm gonna go eat some dinner, have some protein. I'm also trying not to eat the cupcake that I bought today. I got a cupcake and a brownie, but my head's been hurting. Partly, well, I got 3 things, but the sugar, I'm not used to having the sugar. So I was getting a headache and I'm like, I don't want to have a cupcake. So I'm going to go vlog. And then like, I'm glad that I did because it helped me see about the whole cup thing. That's why it's important to say things out loud. Even if you don't, like, not everyone who's out there, obviously, who's gone through this is going to share their story on whatever, you know, outlet you have. But I do encourage you to get it out. I don't mean publicly. I mean, whatever works for you. Honestly, I find self-talk to be extremely therapeutic. I don't mean this as self-talk because I know there's somebody on the other side who's watching, and I'm grateful for the back and forth of the comments and all of your experiences and all of your support, which means so much to me. But I mean, just like being in the car and there's no one else there and you just want to just talk about what's in your head just to get it out. It's so much to keep inside. You don't need someone else to hear you. You just have to let it out, whether it's good or bad. And then you never know what revelations you'll have just from, you know, you sharing. All right, so I'm going to not eat my cupcake. I'll eat it later. And hold on to this feeling of, it's not even the glass half full. Like my cup was overflowing with love today. And it was awesome. All right, Lupron 14 tomorrow. Wish me luck. Bye.